Hey everybody, Jodie Flavel here, Decor Vintage Designs. How is everybody tonight? So I am live tonight from Yorkshire, UK, and my dog is with me here tonight, and every time I start talking he likes to move. He's gone back in his bed now, so we should be okay. So Jodie Flavel here, Decor Vintage Designs, and I am live tonight from South Yorkshire in the UK. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm getting really distracted. I'm going to ignore him. I tend to keep him out of the room these days, but he's like right there just doing stuff tonight. So right, okay, so what I'm going to be doing tonight is this is something I do often for two reasons. Just to start with, is I sometimes create staging props out of canvases. I have one somewhere, but I don't know where I've put it. And the reason why I do this is because, one, you can create a kind of picture or staging prop that suits the furniture that maybe you're trying to stage, and two, it's a great way to kind of practice sometimes with products. So the way I'm going to be painting tonight, I'm going to be using chalk pastes, a stencil, and some of the acrylics out of the Metallique range, and everything I'm doing tonight can be done on furniture. Just to let you guys know, but it can also be done on canvas. So I'm kind of just going to have a little play and just see what happens, and yeah, and just I don't know, let's just see what happens tonight. I've kind of got an idea in my head of what I want to do, but we'll soon find out. So, right, I'm just grabbing my paste. Can you hear my dog? He's making like really weird noises in the background. He's like licking himself. If you hear weird little grunts, it is not me, it is the dog. I just want to say it's not me grunting. Okay, so so what I'm thinking is I want this really old worldy look to go with this really old worldy piece that I've almost just finished. So I'm going to start with some chalk paste, and I'm going to start with a base, and it's just going to be kind of a nice relaxing session tonight. I've got 3 pieces of furniture on the go at the moment, so it's nice just to maybe just to chill out and just have a little bit of a play around on canvas. So hey Barbara, how are you? So this is Turkish coffee, and I'm just going to start by getting a chip brush, and I hope you guys can see that because it looks like quite far away on the camera. Uh-oh, he's knocking the... Okay, so it looks quite far away on the camera, but I'm actually quite close to it, so I can't really bring it in any closer. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start stippling this on my canvas, the way you have seen me do many times with furniture. I like to do this sometimes when I get a little bit bored. I don't really sell these kind of pieces because I just feel like they're just my practice pieces, and they're just my kind of therapeutic, getting out my head, just having a play, you know. But as I say, they can make great staging props, and they're a great way to practice as well and get used to different products if you're not sure. You know, so if you don't really want to get straight in there and use some product, you know, use the products and furniture, then you can use canvases or other little bits and pieces that you might want to, you know, use around the house. So, oops, hang on, it's just fallen. I need a new easel. This one's not tightening up anymore. It keeps coming loose. So I can't remember what size this canvas is, but it's just like a cheap one. It's not expensive. I think it cost me about £2 from, we have a supermarket in the UK called Home Bargains, and it's just a really cheap supermarket. I don't know what you guys call your supermarkets in America. I can't remember. What do you call them? Hi Annette, all good thanks. Hope you're well. Yes, I'm very well, thank you, Barbara. So I've just got my Turkish coffee and I'm just dabbing it, and I'm just going to come in with a few different chalk pastes just to get this background going. So I've got some buckram binding, the one that I can never say. And I don't know what's going on with the Facebook tonight. It's looking very kind of like wishy-washy. So this is buckram binding. I'm just going to start stippling this over the top. So just to get this kind of very soft, old world background. It's making a racket, isn't it? I'm trying to hold it so it's not making noise. So if it's not moving around very well, you can use water. So you can just get your water mister and give it a little bit of a spritz. But just bear in mind if you want the texture of the chalk paste, because they are very thick, and if you don't want to blend it too much, then you don't want to use too much water. Otherwise, you're just going to lose all that texture and all that kind of patina that this kind of look creates by stippling. So this helps create a natural patina as well. It doesn't blend the way, so if you were like painting like this and had a really thick chalk, really sort of thin chalk paint, then it gets really blendy. But because I'm using thick chalk pastes, by doing this I'm creating a patina. And as I say, these chalk pastes can be used on furniture. What I'm doing now can be done on furniture. So I'm just having a wee little practice, and you know, as I said, I want to create a staging prop for myself. I love these chalk pastes. They are actually one of my favourite things to use out of the whole range, because they're just so versatile in what you can do with them. Because I'm going to be doing a raised stencil as well with one in a moment. You'll soon see. Hey Nikki, how are you? You've tried the chalk paste, haven't you, Nikki? And you quite like them. You've used this Turkish coffee before on a really beautiful piece. So I'm just tapping away. Can you guys, let me see if I can bring it in just a little bit closer so you guys can see. I'll get my mug out of the way so you don't have to see me. You'll see the canvas a little bit more. I always feel like, because I often do little projects on the Prima page, I always feel like I'm right up and close and personal to the camera. And that's very flattering. Okay, so I'm just alternating here between buckram binding, the one that I struggle to say, and also Turkish coffee, and I will bring you in a moment just to show you the kind of patina that this is creating. And I'm just tapping, and you don't want to use a good brush for this. You just want to use a chip brush, you know, like a cheap chip brush or an old kind of brush. You don't want it, because it's just going to have, look, if you look at my bristles there already, you can see they're kind of separating a little bit. I mean, I do this all the time, so these brushes hold up really well, but it does eventually ruin your brush. So if you ever do a look like this, just make sure you don't use a good brush. Make sure you use one that you don't really care about too much. So we're going for an oldie worldy kind of canvas here, and it's going to be a staging prop for me. And I'm painting just in, oh, the other thing as well, sorry, is watch out for brush bristles when you do this, because they kind of tend to molt as well. So how long do they take to dry? Not long, Barbara. They tend to dry quite quickly because they're quite thick. So yeah, they dry pretty quickly, to be honest. I mean, let's have a look. So I started in the middle here. Let me have a... So I started around here about 5 minutes ago, and I'm just lightly brushing it. And there's a tiny, tiny little bit on my finger there, if you can see, but not much. So they dry that quickly. Unless you use water, and then water can be used to reactivate them. Okay, so let me bring you in a little bit so you can see. I wish I had a tiny bit of a bigger canvas for you guys. Can you see that? Can you see it's kind of looking a bit like, it's kind of like oldie worldy French colours, I think. I'm not very good at describing stuff. So yeah, so we've got kind of this we've got this base on now that I'm liking, and now I'm just going to start adding little bits, just like I would with furniture. So this is the Sparks, I've not tried this one yet, Raven Black Sparks Acrylic. So this is kind of like, it's one of the Art Alchemy ranges. It's not one of the Metalliques. I think this, so you've got the Metallique range. Let me see if I can find one here in front of me, which is like this. Can you see? I never know where my camera is on my phone. And then you've kind of got the Sparks range as well. And both are metallics, but I think the Metallique range I'm finding is a little bit thinner than the Sparks range. This tends to be a little bit more of a paste, and it tends to have a lot more shimmer in it, whereas these are more metallic. So these are sort of thinner and metallic, and these are a little bit more thicker and a little bit more shimmery, but these are just acrylics, these metallic ones. So I don't know how this is going to look. I'm just going to try it and see. So I'm going to get a dabbing brush now, and I'm just going to create a bit of a vignette, a bit of a shadow around this. I want it to look worn, remember. And then just to smooth it over, I am just coming in with my chip brush, and I'm going to make it look like it's part of the piece. I don't want it to look like it's just been painted on. So again, I'm just lightly dabbing. I'm not using too much of this all at once because it's a very dark, thick black. so I don't want to just go straight in there with it really thick. It's always easier to build up gradually than it is to try and, you know, take away stuff. So I'm just kind of blending this in now, and this is going to make it look old. I want it to kind of look like it's been in a house a while, maybe a really old rich house, who knows, and like with many of my things, maybe just kind of time's taken its toll on it a little bit, but it's looking like kind of a lot prettier for that. So this is helping me create some depth now. I'm just going to go all around the sides and then get my original. I'm not putting any more chalk paste on this brush. I'm just kind of going straight in there with what I've already got on there. There's no need. There's already enough. The paste is so thick that they saturate my brush. So I've probably got enough in this brush to like soften the whole edge out of the black. I'm losing hairs again. There we go. Bristles. You could even bring some of it up a little bit. You know, when you think of things being damaged, it's never perfect. There's never symmetry. So always remember that. Don't go for symmetry. But you could, like I said, you can absolutely do this on furniture as well. But I'm just having a practice tonight. Okay, I do actually need a little bit more on this brush now because it's just full of black. Let's get some of the Turkish coffee. Okay, and what I might want to do as well, there might be a little bit of corrosion. And corrosion is green, I think. Yes, it's green. So again, so this is the Metallique. I'm just trying to look at the names. I can't remember them all yet. And this is the Jade Stone. And you can see it's a really nice bright green and perfect for kind of patinas. So I'm just wondering how I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to get some on the end of my brush like this. I'm going to totally saturate my brush. I have no idea how this is going to look. I'm going to try and not spray my dog because he won't like that. You guys see that? And then I'm kind of just going to push it downwards and create like some drips, some very soft drips. And then if you want to soften it up again, just come in again with your original brush and just start patting it out. And you could even just get your water like you would with furniture and just start softening up some of these drips as well. Just like that. And then the other thing I have, so I'm just using a lot of products and just building up gradually. In fact, what I'm going to do is come back in again with some more black, and I'm just going to soften up some of this green at the top here as well. I have, if I can find them, some of these. These are amazing. They're not quite out, they're not redesigned with Prima, but they are part of the Prima world. They're art philosophy sprays, and they're called Colour Blooms. And these are amazing. I love these for creating depth and a bit of shimmer on furniture. It looks fab. I can watch you create this all day long. Oh, thank you, Barbara. So they're fine shimmer sprays, and there's a lot of different colours in them. And then here I've got Brimstone Wings, and this one's Golden Oregano. And so when you get these, they just come as little powders, so you can kind of make it as thick or as thin as you want, or you could even take some of the powder out and use them, you know, bit by bit as paint. So I just decided to fill them up to the top because that's all I really want them for. But I'm going to try them on here today. I don't really know which colour. I think maybe the Golden Oregano is the colour to go for, and hopefully this is going to give me some shimmer. So I'm just going to spray this all on here. I don't know what's going on here. We'll soon find out. And then I'm going to get my water again and just create more drips. Promise you there's an end goal to this. It's not going to look crazy at the end. But can you see how this is starting to look kind of a little bit watered and a bit, you know, weathered now? I don't think I really like this bright green stuff here at the top, so I'm just going to spray some of this out You can use water for distressing, and I actually really like to use water to distress sometimes and to remove certain paint finishes. So again, I'm just going to, it's just about adding and taking away, and as I say, you can do this with furniture if you want to, and I'm just going to come in again and just do some tapping around the edges, just to soften this all up a little bit. Where's my original brush gone? I'll get a new one. Okay, and then I'm going to come in again with my Turkish coffee, and I'm just going to start patting this over some of the green now as well. So this is all about adding and taking away. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I'm just having a little practice and just seeing how it goes, and you know, just seeing what happens with these kind of colours. The best way, if you're not sure about doing something on furniture, a certain look, just grab a canvas. This one's Brimstone Wings. I'm just going to paint a tiny little bit and just see what happens. Quite like that one. Just in some areas, not loads of it. Can you guys see that? Is it looking, it's kind of looking crazy on there, isn't it? So then I'm just going to tap again. Right, okay, so this is kind of going to be my base, but it's by no means the end product, and I'm just going to give it a quick dry before I do the next step, otherwise it's just going to end up being really, really muddy. In fact, I'm just going to cover up some of this green. I don't like this green very much up here. Go, just soften that up a little bit. So I'm just going to give this a quick dry, because if you build too much up at once, what happens is your paint just ends up a massive mush, and it just ends up really kind of brown. So it's not wanted to dry too much today. So now what I'm going to do, and now I've got this kind of really dark background, I'm going to start adding some pretty stuff to it. So I've got the kind of dark gloomy stuff that I want, and now I kind of want it to be a bit prettier. So I've got this chalk paste in chalky white, and just to show you how thick these are, look, you can see how thick they are. They don't even move. They're really nice products to use. So you really should use masking tape for this, but I'm not going to bother tonight because my dog ate it. He likes to chew it if I leave it out. So so this is the, I think it's called the French Damask. In fact, I need to make sure that's kind of straight. This is a French Damask stencil. I'm going to start adding the chalky white chalk paste with the dabbing brushes on this, just by tapping, and I'm going to get big clumps in some areas like this, and then do it maybe a little bit thinner in some areas because I'm going for that worn look. I nearly did it on a bigger canvas today. I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Because that would have been really hard trying to do this stencil on a bigger canvas, holding it. So all I'm going to do is tap, 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 tap. And even if I don't want it to be perfectly even anyway, I want it to look like it's sort of been worn and stuff, so. And what these chalk pastes can do, so if you are using these chalk pastes on stencils and you use them quite thick, they do create a bit of a raised stencil. So I'm just going to get down here. As you can see, I'm not being particular. I'm just kind of getting it on there. you guys are all very quiet tonight. You should pop on and say hello. Let me know where you're all from. Is it dark where you are yet? So it's like it's just gone 7 o'clock where I am, and it gets kind of dark very early now. I've had such a busy day as well. Have you guys ever just thought, oh, I'll like paint this, you know when you've got lots of things to do and you think, oh, I'll just paint this piece really quickly, like it'll only take me an hour, and then you get right in the zone of painting it, and before you know it, 3 hours have passed and you've got things to do. That's kind of what's been happening to me today. So I did have something else planned for this live actually, but it just didn't pan out. But I have been wanting to do this with you guys for a while, so I thought it would be a good opportunity today to show you this. Okay, so as I say, I'm not wanting it even, but I do want to make sure that you can kind of see what's going on here as well. Let's get some up here. I love this stencil, it's so pretty. I think out of them all, it's sort of the prettiest one. Okay, so this is the satisfying part now. In fact, the chalk paste is so thick, look at that, it's actually sticking the stencil to the canvas. So it's just, look, it's just dangling there. Love watching you paint. Thank you, Cheryl. Hi, mid-afternoon here in Ottawa, Canada. How is it in Canada? Is it really cold at this time of year? I've never been, but I do have family there, and I would like to visit one day. Hi from Australia. Okay, so I'm going to peel this off now, and we'll just see I'm going to have a little peek first, just to see what's going on and to make sure it's looking kind of how I want it to look. Okay, oops. Okay, yeah, it's kind of looking more rustic than what I thought it would, but that's okay. And can you guys see that? It's looking kind of messy, isn't it? A little bit. That's not to worry though. I'm just wondering. I probably should have done a little bit more, but that's okay. I can work with that. So I'm just going to dry this again now. So as I say, I'm just going for a piece. If I just bring this up to you, it doesn't look quite as bad as it does on camera. Can you see? You can see some of the details then. The lights are kind of drowning it out a little bit. So I'm just going to get to my hairdryer again. I'm just going to try and dry some of this paste. Guys, what I'm going to do like a Blue Peter moment where I show you what I did earlier, because I've got one that's very similar to this that I need to finish, so just bear with me because I don't think that's going to dry. Okay, so it's, whoops, he nearly went then. So this is on a bit of a smaller canvas, can you see? So this is kind of what we're going for, but there is no way that chalk paste is going to dry even with the dryer on it tonight, the hairdryer, because it's just too, let me lower you down, it's a smaller canvas. I might need to bring you in a much closer. Yeah, there's just too much of the paste, so it's not going to dry. So I'll work on this kind of one that I did earlier. So, and I'll show you some of the pigments. So I'm going to start with this red wine. It's cold in Ottawa nowadays, below freezing at night. Oh, sorry, I actually don't mind the cold. I think autumn is probably my favourite season because it's kind of just really crisp. All the fair weather dog walkers are gone, so I can just walk my dog in peace. And I really like the colours, like I really like all the faded trees and the oranges and things. So, okay, I want to show you this. Look how nice that is. Whoops, I always do that. Look how pigmented it is and metallic. So I'm going to give this a spritz, and I'm going to give it a very good spritz because I kind of just want it to be watery. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm making this up as I go along now because my plan has changed. Let me see again if I can get you in even closer. Does the paste shrink your canvases? What do you mean, Barbara? No. Okay, so we've got this, so I've kind of done the background a little bit different on this one. It's more metallic, so it's a little bit shinier. If I hold it like that, you might be able to see it a little bit better. We've got the damask stencil, and we've also got a few other bits going on here. But I figured I wanted it a little bit more plum, I'm not really keen on some of this, so I'm going to just come in with a few more colours today. And what you can do as well is if the canvases are a little bit too like bright, if they're a little bit too bright for what you want, then you can just use white wax to soften them down. That's always sort of an idea. So I'm just going to be using a lot of water. Every time I put something on, I'm going to be spraying it. And I'm mainly going to be focusing on like the corners, because I just want it to look like there's been colours on there and the colours have kind of worn off. And there are some lovely greens in this range as well, if I can find them. So this is a beautiful colour as well. This one's called Stormy Ocean. And I'm just going to plough loads of colours on here today. So this is Stormy Ocean. And I'm going to plop some of this at the top. And you can still see the stencil underneath because it's raised, because of the chalk pastes. But as I say, I just wasn't too keen on like the overall colour of it. I felt like it looked a bit washed out in my photos. So I have been meaning to kind of update it. I did this one about a month ago and it's just been sat there waiting for me to update, as a lot of things are. So if I can do it now, that's kind of awesome. Right, and then I'm just kind of dipping into my different acrylics now. So this one's Golden Moss. I'm going to use a different brush each time. And I might try, so what I might do here, this is a mop brush, and I might just tap some of this on here as well. And then I'm going to get my water mister and I'm just going to spray it, let it drip. You could also just like maybe let it drip in different ways, like it doesn't necessarily need to go one way. I like that side now, I kind of like all this green. So I just want it to look a little bit mossier. Thank you, Annette. I just want it to look kind of a little bit mossier than what it was and just not so kind of pink. So I'm just looking out now for my different greens. So this is half of my stash here that I've got. I'm not particularly organised sometimes. I just kind of throw stuff in when I should be organised, but I'm not. So I don't know, I'm just making it up. So this one is Dark Forest, and this isn't, at least I get to show you guys some of these colours because they're really, really pretty. This one's Dark Forest, and this again is from the Metallique range, the Art Philosophy range, and I'm going to do a wash of this over the whole top actually. Let's see if we can make this look a bit darker than what it was. Spray again. So what might work is if I do this and then we have little peaks of, the original colours coming through, that might look nice. So I'm just going to keep turning it. This is a good way sometimes as well to kind of get rid of the drips. And what the drips are doing as well, you might see, is that they're kind of just going around like the raised stencil. And then if you had some kitchen roll as well, you could even tap it and do a little bit of ragging and create some texture that way. And I'm going to come back now to my sprays. I just want this to look really mossy. So this one is the Golden Oregano. I'm going to put loads of that on. And I don't know where the other one's gone, so we'll just do that one. Maybe I'll even just do some tapping. So we've got loads of water on here now, so it's not going to, so it is just going to be a wash. It's not going to like massively just cover up the entire thing. But it is going to alter the overall tone and shade of it. And I'm much preferring this than what it was before. So have you guys got any colours that you want to see out of the range? If you do, let me know, because I can always show you tonight, or I could always do something with them the other night. So if you guys want to see any colours from the Metallique range, which has recently been added to the Prima site, let me know. Or if you want to see any of the products, actually, let me know if there's anything you're interested in seeing. Okay, so we've totally altered the colour, the kind of overall look of that now, just by adding some of these metallics and some of the bloom sprays. Thank you, Barbara. it needs to dry before I do anything else, and also the metallics are shining a little bit too much off the light, so you can't really see the overall thing. But once this dries, some of the pigments will kind of soften a little bit, and then what I will do is I'm going to add some white wax all over the top and then some brown wax around the edges. And what the white wax will do will soften all this up, and it will just kind of bring it together and make it look a lot more aged, and then the dark wax will give it some depth. So yeah, so I just kind of wanted to, let me pull you out a little bit more. Okay, yeah, you can still see that. Yeah, so you can see it from far away now. Those colours are really pretty. So yeah, so I just wanted to show you a few of the products today. It wasn't so much like a furniture day. I just felt like maybe the metallics, I don't know, maybe some of you wasn't sure what they were like, weren't sure of the colours. So hopefully now you kind of get an idea. There are so many different colours. Like if I show you a few of these, you know, you can get plum colours, or there's even corals. It's probably better if I do it that way. So there's loads. So here's a nice coral, and these are all metallics. And these are very nice, so you can paint them like canvas, like I've done. You can paint them on furniture. You can use them sometimes. So if you don't want to use wax and you just want to use maybe a different colour to what the wax range offers, or you just want to use something a bit softer, then these are perfect for that. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you guys want to, you know, as I say, if you feel like you want to see how something works out of the whole range, and you've not seen any lives on it, or you're not sure how to do it, then drop a comment below, and maybe one of my next lives I can cover one of those, because I want to do lives that you guys are going to find useful. But yes, so everything I've done today, as I say, can be done on furniture. Canvases are a great way just to do staging props, and also just to kind of have a little practice. As you can see with this one, so they've been done in similar ways, but they're going to be to completely different looks. Can you see that? So there's two staging props now that I've got, although I've still got to do some paint and some washes over this, but I'll make sure I do different colours to that, so that I've got two different props. Right, I'm going to pop off. If this was being applied to furniture, would you apply a top coat over this? Yes, definitely. I would definitely apply a top coat over the chalk pastes. I tell you what happened was, I had some plant pots, and I painted them in the chalk paste, and they've been sat outside in the rain. I don't know if I've got like a bruise there, or if it's paint, it's just catching my eye, sorry. I don't know, it feels sore. I think I've bruised my nose somehow. Yeah, so, and then it rained, and then, yeah, the chalk paints did kind of run. They do definitely need to be sealed, just like any chalk paints would be. So yeah, they need to be sealed. Although it did create a lovely colourful patina. I actually really loved the way they ended up looking. Can you put top coat over them? Yes, you can put a top coat over them. Yeah, you need to put a top coat over. You can wax them, but if you want them to be tough and durable, then yes, you need to put a top coat over them. I have put Gator Hide over them, which is Dixie Belle's water-based. You know, it's a water-based top coat, and that's always been absolutely fine. Who are they by, please, Jodie? They're redesigned with Prima. So let me show you this one. Look, they're redesigned with Prima. So the chalk, all of these, everything I've shown you today is redesigned with Prima, with the exception of these Colour Brute bloom sprays, which are Art Philosophy, but are still Prima. They're kind of a sister company to Prima. So these are lovely as well. So yeah, any more questions before I jump off? I'll give it a sec. I'm just wondering, I'll show you some more of these colours actually. So there's loads of different colours in the range as well, in the chalk paste range. I'll show you my favourite. This is Neptune. I haven't opened it yet actually. They come with this plastic cover over them, which you kind of take off. I usually just take it off. Can you see how thick that is? And then I kind of usually just scrape it a little bit, otherwise you lose loads of the paste. And look how pigmented that is, and it's just such a beautiful turquoise. So some of the range is more pastel-y, and some of them are much more pigmented. So this is called Aquamarine. This is a really nice kind of, not very good paint pot actually there. I've got a hair in there. Okay. So, so you can see there, that's kind of a much more pastel-y colour. So there's loads of colours in the range as well. So I'm going to pop off now, guys, and yeah, so thank you so much for keeping me company. Yeah, and as I said, I really enjoyed doing this. I've got a canvas now that I hopefully will do a nice little staging prop for a piece that I'm going to stage tomorrow. So all of you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and stay safe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.